What in the world happened to Vinicius Jr.? Once Real Madrid's golden boy and a Ballon d'Or favorite to being benched and possibly sold out of Madrid, Real Madrid collapsed, titles slipped away, Ancelotti was sacked, and Vinicius, his so-called revenge tour, never ever began. From his golden peak in 2024 to many humiliations in 2025, and Kylian Mbappe still in the spotlight. This is the story of how Vinicius went from unstoppable to uncertain. And it all leads to one question. Under Xabi Alonso's new Madrid, will Vini rediscover his fire or fade into the shadows forever?
Himself a Ballon d'Or this season with a goal to give them daylight.
The 23-24 season was Vinicius Jr. at his absolute peak. However, this didn't really make any sense. As talented as Vinicius was, Madrid was coming off a bad season. This was the season after the humiliating loss against Man City. Also, this was the year when Benzema decided to leave Madrid. And most importantly, this was the year that Vinicius was finally trusted to wear the iconic number 7 jersey. So, not only did Vini needed to repair a broken Madrid, he also needed to fill in the void of one of their greatest strikers to ever play for the club. But Vini was ready. This was his team. He was no longer the sidekick, and he was now the face of Madrid. And it happened. When Madrid needed him, he showed up. During this season, he carried Madrid to win La Liga. He demolished Barcelona and ultimately took Madrid to European glory with performances out of this world against Man City, against the German Giants, Bayern Munich in the semifinals, and Borussia Dortmund in the finals. By the end of the season, he was the undisputed favorite to win the Ballon d'Or. However, football can be unfair, and moments before the ceremony, Manchester City called Madrid. Real Madrid boycotted the award as they were informed that Rodri was going to win. Vini fired back online saying, "I'll do it 10 times if I have to. They're not ready." It was meant to be the beginning of a revenge tour, but instead, it was the start of his own downfall. The 24-25 season was supposed to be the redemption, but instead, it became a slow-motion disaster, not only for Vini, but for the entire Real Madrid squad. Madrid, they went on to have one of their darkest campaigns in modern history, an incredible contrast and major disappointment, especially after everything they had achieved just one season ago. They were humiliated domestically. Barcelona, they went on to beat them 4 times in a season, something that had not happened since the 1980s. In the Champions League, it was no exception. In Madrid, they went on to have humiliating losses against AC Milan, Liverpool, and most painfully, getting kicked out of the competition 5-1 against Arsenal. Even at the global stage, PSG went on to dominate them 4-0 in the Club World Cup. This wasn't just bad luck. The truth is that when pressure mounted, Vinicius cracked. The spark was gone. Missed penalties, missed chances, and his aura, it slowly started to disappear. This domestic and European collapse forced Ancelotti out of the club and brought in Xabi Alonso to spearhead a rebuild. However, despite these failures and the arrival of Xavi, a much darker challenge was quietly brewing inside the club. It's important to remember that Vinicius was not alone, and Madrid's collapse was for the entire team. At the very start of this same season, Mbappe finally arrived to Madrid, so the failure was just magnified on how 2 of the top players in the world could not pull it together and ended up having a humiliating season for the club. But the truth is that with Mbappe's arrival, a battle for power inside Madrid had just begun. Vinicius had spent years trying to become Madrid's star. The left flank was his kingdom, and the attack, it all revolved around him. But with Mbappe, his arrival changed everything overnight, and suddenly, Madrid had 2 of the world's best players fighting for the same spotlight. Who was the talisman? Who was the face of the club? Even penalties, they became a symbol of struggle. One week, it was Vinicius. The next week, it was Mbappe. Neither fully convincing, but in the chaos, one truth emerged. Mbappe, he scored more, he delivered more, and became far more reliable than Vini. The season was a complete failure for Madrid, but for Mbappe, Mbappe, he just couldn't stop scoring. He went on to win La Liga's Pichichi Award and the European Golden Boot. For Vinicius, it was a psychological torment. Every goal Mbappe scored was just a reminder that his era was over. Every missed chance was magnified. The weight of being the chosen one turned into the fear of being replaced. The fans who once adored him now turned away. Even Ancelotti, the man who once protected him, no longer stood by his side. Once Ancelotti was sacked, Madrid brought in Xabi Alonso, a young, demanding, and tactical manager, and with him also came a new identity for the club. The truth is that during the 24-25 season, the team no longer revolved around Vinicius. The spotlight was fractured, and the club was left in confusion over who was their true leader. But in Xavi's Madrid, things are different now. Mbappe has not only been given the number 10 jersey, but he has also been trusted as the official taker for both penalties and free kicks. The message is clear. The team belongs to Mbappe now, and he is the current and future face of the club. For Vinicius, the pressure has only doubled. Even in Brazil, the spotlight belongs to Rafinha as the new main man, while fans dream more about Neymar's return rather than Vinicius' revival. And now, with Esteval rising, Vini no longer looks like Brazil's present nor future. In Madrid, the whispers only grow louder. If Vinicius can adapt, the club might be forced to cash in. Paris, Manchester, the names don't matter. The message is the same. His place at Madrid is no longer safe. From the golden boy to a question mark, Vinicius now stands in a new Madrid where he's no longer the face, no longer the hope, but just another player fighting for relevance. Vinicius once declared, "I'll do it 10 times if I have to," but words don't win trophies, and at Madrid, the patient has already run thin. Mbappe is the new face of Madrid, Rafinha the new main for Brazil, and Vinicius Jr., he stands on the edge. If he fails to adapt under Xabi Alonso, he won't just lose his Ballon d'Or dream, he could lose Madrid, he could lose Brazil, he could lose the very legacy he once seemed destined to own. The story of Vinicius Jr. isn't over, but right now, it's no longer about greatness, it's about survival. If you made it to this point, I just want to say thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I did. If you want to watch more stories like this, please feel free to subscribe or click here to check out some of my other videos. But either way, thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next time. Cheers.